Welcome back. We're going to carry on now and we're going to get this cab built. I have heard that the horn blocks should be arriving this week. Apparently they're in the post, so we should be able to move on. Right, so we've got our cab parts here. But for now we have the lubricator, the brake stand, which just goes in like that. And we also have the inspection port for the end of the firebox. Just clean that casting up. Where is... There it is. Let's clean that hole up. Right, so we'll get these fitted. Pretty good shape there. A couple of mil off the back. And a little bit off the front, and that one will fit. So we're taking about 2 mil off that one, and about 2 mil off the front of that one. Oh, I didn't take enough. Better to undercut than overcut. Oh, that's so close. So close. So, where are we here? We're very close. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but we're about a mil too big there, and about 1.5 mil in the curve. I'll fix you guys back up in position, because once we get that one to fit, we just use that one to cut all of these to that shape, and they all fit. So yeah, we're very, very close. Okay, just a little bit more out of the guts. Well, I don't know if you guys can see that, but no window, window. So now we're going to cut all of them to that size. So I'll do that and we'll carry on. Okay, so that's all our panes cut and shaped. Put those back in the box. So now it's just a matter of cleaning up castings. So this is where our full plate gets hinged off, so we're going to drill out these two little lugs here, so we put a bit of wire through it and then hinge the floor plate off that. It's easy to drill it out before it all goes together. So yeah, we're just drilling out those little tabs. I mean, you could do this once you've built the bulkier locomotive, that way you've got some structural strength when you're doing it. But I like to build everything in sub-assemblies, like, you know, like we did with the tender. We did the chassis as a sub-assembly, you know, all the rest of it in the top. So we'll do the cab as a sub-assembly as well. And then that way the whole thing just goes onto the boiler wrapper once that boiler wrapper is done. So the cab will be completely finished apart from the roof and the back head fitted, because we don't fit the roof until the painting's done and the glazing's in. And then we fit the back head, then the roof. But this takes time, just drilling out these tiny little holes. So I'll just carry on with that, and then we'll come back. Right, so we've drilled out our holes. So now we're going to clean up this casting for the floor. That way we'll get a nice clean connection on the back of the cab. So on the edge of the cab is thinned out at the bottom. So that then aligns when that slips into there, that catches into there. So what I'm going to do is drop a little bit of flux on the back side of the cab here and just tack it with a bit of low melt solder. It'll hold it in place. Alright, so we've got a couple of tacks on that just to hold that cab on. Okay, so we're going to have to take a little bit of meat out of that. because it's actually sloping backwards. So you can see up the front here we haven't got a very good connection to there. The roof actually has to come up a little bit like that in order for it to fit. So I'm going to have to cut a little bit of meat out of this front of the cab here, in front of the roof. Right, so that's all connected now. So now we'll be able to see our fit. So we're getting closer. There's a little bit of a gap at the top there. But I want to reinforce this cab front, so got to be very careful because this easily melts. So what we've got is another little tag just in there. We want to solder that out, and same on the other side. So we've got some nice strong solder joints in there. You can see that one down the bottom, you can see that one further up, same on the other side. Because we don't want to get solder up around the top here by the edge of the window, because if you look, you can see it better there. There's a very fine slot there that just the glazing can fit into. So if we get a big blob of solder in there or some glue, we're going to struggle to fit that window cleanly. Because we've also got holes in the back of the back wall of the cab here as well that have to go up to about here. There's little pop marks here on the back, so that's for a handrail as well. So on the cab we've got to fit the 4 handrails, the etched window frame, or the etched barred frame for the front window here, and the flip out, pop out windows that go on the side, the window deflectors, for when the driver and the fireman stick their head out the window. On this, each of the parts we need. So we've got our window edges, and we've got our pop out window deflectors for the side, and then we're just going to do handrails. So we'll nip those out. Oh, I forgot to press record again. Right, so we have our full plate for the back of the cab. So we're going to drill out tiny little holes in those, and then bend those down 90 degrees, put it to the back of the cab, and put a piece of wire through and solder it. And then that's hinged. Just cut that off. And there we have it, guys. We've got our little hinge. So all I've done is just a little drop of low melt solder on the end, a little bit on the end, and then cut the tag so that just passes right through and allows that to up and down. So there's our full plate. Just give that a little tweak. So that's our little wind deflector on the side of the cab. I think it's pretty cool. So we'll drill out the other one next, and then we'll fix them in place. Right, we're going to crank up the soldering on, because we're going to fix that wire in place on the handrail knobs. Just cut a little bit of the excess off. Trim that one back. So there we have our first handrail on there. So now we want to fit our bars on the inside of the window. So as you can see, there's quite a bit sticking out underneath, and not a lot sticking out on the top. So we've got to get that even. Just like that. They're down inside the recess. So we'll now make the other one the same size. We may be able to do that with just a pair of nips and just take a little bite out of it. I've got the other one for the other side fitted. Nice and tight in there. So we're going to run a little bit of super glue down in there. So there we go. That side's in. That side's in. And the bars are even. So now we'll fit the other handrail and get that into the cab and fixed in place. Right, so we've got handrails mounted both sides. We'll now fit the pop out windows. So yeah, that's looking pretty cool. I think it's cool. It's just a good looking cab. So I'm going to buy some more 0.5 wire. So that's the only piece I've got. Now that's what I was going to do. I was going to make the adjustment on this one way. So yeah, I'm still here. Still working on this cab, drilling holes. We're just doing all the holes in the front of the cab there for the lubricator lines just by the window there. We're doing, and then we'll do the other side, and then we'll do the holes down here. You can see the pot marks here for the control rod for the forward and reverse. And we've just been trying to get this roof to sit flatter, so we've taken a little bit of meat out of it just to get it to sit. We're pretty close. A little bit out there, a little bit of pressure and it sits, but yeah, it just needs a little bit more taken out. Probably about here somewhere. We've already taken a little bit out of the roof. We can take more because it's still quite thick. But we've got a little bit of playroom on the top of the casting too, so just a little bit of filing, and you know, do about 2 or 3 swipes of the file and check it. Another 2, check it till it comes right. So we're getting there. So on the instructions, you got pretty detailed drawings of how the cab sort of goes together and where holes need to be drilled and things and their sizes. So yeah, we're getting there. Put that back in the folder. So yeah, I'm just slowly drilling holes. I'm on to my last 0.5 drill bit. Righto, so all our holes are drilled. So we've got our holes in the back for the handrails. We've got our holes up there for the lubricators and for the cords for the whistle. And we've also got our holes down the bottom for all the other pipes and things that will go from the boiler into the cab. So that's it for the cab for holes. In fact, that's pretty much it for the cab in total, apart from the handrails, because everything else is fitted once the boiler's rolled and this is connected to the boiler. So we'll do some handrails and then that'll be that. So yeah, we got a much better sort of fitment now on the roof. So a little bit of a seam there, but that'll hide once it's painted and it's glued on and all the rest of it. So